Hey, hello. Okay, let me All right. Let me finish taking down these little notes before I start. All right. Welcome back to the Prison Yard TV, where we keep it real and authentic. Um, Today, I wanted to touch on. I wanted to show you youngsters and whoever else might be looking at prison time, maybe prison times in your future. Want to let you know some of the ways people make money, make a living in prison. And I don't condone none of this stuff, even though I was involved in a few of them, the majority of them. Um, but, you know, prison is a place where if you're not self sufficient, then you're going to have you're going to do hard time. Um, a lot of people don't realize that when they do go to prison, especially if you got a long sentence, when I mean long, I mean 10 years or more, that people fall off. People forget about people in prison. Wives leave, girlfriends leave, mothers. Mothers are probably the only ones that really stand by individuals that are in prison. But other than that, brothers, friends, uh, associates, after 2, 3 years, if you're lucky, they seem to forget about you. So in order to survive in prison, you can't survive off the food they serve you. Well, I couldn't anyway. And you have to have a way to make money. And I'm going to give you guys just a little tiny bit. I'm going to give you guys 10 ways of how people sustain themselves in prison. Um, I'm going to wait for a couple more viewers to get in here before I touch on this. If you already haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when my next video comes up, hit that notification bell, man. You'll be notified when my next video comes up. I do want to wait for a few more viewers to come in here before I start this video out. As you guys know, I did altogether 28 years and some change in the California state prison system. I did go to prison out of state in Washington, the state of Washington, 3 prisons. I can't remember the reception center, what they was called, but I know I went to Stafford Creek and Walla Walla was the 2 institutions I was housed at in the state of Washington. Fortunately, I didn't end up doing that much time out there. I had a lot of time, but I appealed my case and got out pretty fast after I was taken to their facility. I had a lot of time out there and got out within a year. So I didn't really do that much time in Washington. However, I did do a lot of time in California on the installment plan. It wasn't 28 years straight. The longest stretch I ever did in California was 9 years, 8 months, and I forgot how many days. But that's the longest stay I ever did in California prison system. And in that time, from the very first time I went to prison in '89, I kind of learned the ropes. I hung around older guys, and they kind of put me up on, what was going on and how to make money. And at that time, in '89, the main currency in prison was either cash or cigarettes. There wasn't no cell phones. The number one commodity back in '89 was heroin. And before I went to prison, I've never seen heroin on the street. It was the first time I ever seen heroin was in prison. And that was the main drug of choice of people doing time in prison. a lot of weed smokers. I didn't see that much crank or crystal until my last two stints. But growing up in the prison system, heroin was definitely the drug of choice. And I didn't know nothing about it, but I learned about it doing time out here. But so the 10 the 10 ways I want to touch on today that people make money on in prison are just off the top of my head. There's way more ways to make money in prison, but these are some of the things that come to light when I think about making money in prison. And mind you, all these ways could catch you new cases and definitely put you in the hole, solitary confinement, and get you more time added to your sentence. So just be mindful of that. Like I said, the first way that I was taught to make money in prison was selling drugs. And I know it's hard to believe, but in the late 80s, early 90s, a gram of heroin, which is the size of my finger right here, that's a gram of heroin. On the street, right now, I think it's $40, $50 for a gram of heroin. I don't know what it was in '89. I know ounces were like $1,100, $1,200. But in prison, the size of this pen, the tip of this pen, a match head was going for $50. You could make almost $500, if not more, off of 1 gram of heroin in prison. So I seen that. And people that know me know that I always was a go-getter. I like to get money in prison, out of prison. I was always a hustler. And so when I seen that, that's the first profession I took up in prison, is selling drugs. And I never got caught. However, administration, when they get wind of someone that they think is selling drugs, they hit your house, they hit your cell, they take you to potty watch, they mess with your visits, they tap your phone calls, they listen to all your phone calls. Not tap them because they listen to all of them anyway, but they make your life pretty they jack your life up in there. They make it hard for you to do time and make money when they get wind of you selling drugs. But that's one way, and there's different ways that people get drugs in prison. Of course, everyone knows they can bring it in themselves through the visiting room, swallow it or hoop it and shit like that. But you got to get more creative when you're dealing with a lot of drugs. And I'm gonna give you a story, and this is about an individual. I don't know if he's still alive. He's from Sacramento. He's from Oak Park, and I call him Big Bro. His name is Baye. A lot of people from Sacramento know this individual. He's been in jail since the 80s, the early 80s, maybe even the 70s. He's been in jail a long time, and he's a factor in prison. But when I was at Solano in 2001, I was at Solano State Prison, and I met this cat. I always heard about him, but I met this cat. He was on my yard, and we used to go to the visiting room. He used to be in the visiting room. I used to be in the visiting room. My son was 1 year old, I believe, at the time, 1.5 maybe. And this individual, Baye, decided he was going to get 2 pounds of weed through the visiting room. Now, you guys know 1 pound of weed, if you compress it, you can get it to about maybe that big. So 2 pounds is double that amount, right? So I was in the drug trade in Solano very heavily, and I was selling crank crystal at the time. I was getting it various ways, but this cat asked me for my assistance. And what he did, I want to keep this short because I told this story before on here, but this is I think I should tell it again. So this cat was in the visiting room. His girl brought he got a heavy girl. He had a heavy wife at the time, very heavy white lady, biased black. And she brought the weed um, in her jacket under her rolls. She had rolls. She was a big woman. And he sat at my table, and I had no idea what he was doing at the time or how much was involved. But he told me he wanted me to spill some hot coffee on him. I was like, what? He said, just throw some hot coffee all over my shirt, and I'll break you off a couple zips when we get back to the unit. I'm like, all right. So I don't drink coffee. I had my girl go get a hot cup of coffee, and I threw it on his table and all over his shirt. He jumped up and made a scene. Ah, shit. Then he asked the inmate worker in there to go get the mop bucket. Now, the inmate worker, this individual cleans up after visitors leave. Before they get there, they clean the table. So he went and got the mop bucket and started mopping up the coffee, putting the mop back in the mop bucket. Bae pulls out these 2 pounds out of his girl where she had them at and drops them in the mop bucket. By then, the mop bucket water was all muddy with coffee in it. It's dark. So he finished mopping up the stuff, and he puts the weed 2 pounds in this mop bucket, and he sets the mop on top of them so they sink because they floated. I'm peeping game. Then he walks up to the police station and he asks the police, can I go back and change this shirt? I'll be right back. I got burnt up. I'm burned a little bit and I got to change the shirt. The cop was all right, wrote him a pass. In the meantime, Bae tells the worker to take the mop bucket out in the hallway where we strip out at. And that's where they used to keep them at. So the inmate goes and takes the mop bucket out there. Bae goes out to the visiting room and he does his thing. He goes out there, strips out. They strip you out naked. And I guess on his way out, he picked him up out the mop bucket, put him in his pants, and walked back to his unit. He came back like 30 minutes later and gave me a wink, told me everything was good. I couldn't believe that. So that's one way that I've seen a lot of drugs be brought in the institution. Another way is COs. COs, they make pretty good money in there, but when they see an opportunity to get thousands and thousands of dollars weekly, it's quite irresistible to anybody. Cops, governors, politicians. Money brings you to do things that you ordinarily wouldn't do. And I've seen sergeants, lieutenants, even captains, goon squad, bring phones, tobacco, and drugs in the institution because they was getting paid for it. I was involved in a drug ring when I was at Corcoran and when I was at Pleasant Valley. Every prison I was selling drugs, but them are the two that come to mind. And me and 3 other cats, we was bringing in a lot of drugs in these institutions. Fortunately for us, we never got caught. It's been over 10 years now. And when I look back, I was very fortunate not to get caught selling drugs or cell phones. I sold cell phones at Donovan and made over $250,000 off of cell phones when I was at Donovan. If you don't believe me, you could ask anybody that was in Donovan with me. There was a lot of individuals from not from Sacramento. G-Man was there from my neighborhood. Oak Park cat named Mel. No, I forgot his name. Oak Park cat. A dude from Elder Creek named Melly Mel. James from Fresno. There was a lot of cats that could verify. I made a lot of money in Donovan selling cell phones and tobacco. A lot of money. So that's one way. However, it's pretty scary selling drugs in prison because a lot comes along with that. If someone decides that they can't pay you or they decide they just don't want to pay you, it causes problems. And either you or the people you hang with is going to end up in the hole because you got to make examples out of people that don't pay. Because if someone don't pay you and it hits the yard, people, word travels fast in prison. If the yard finds out that this individual didn't pay you even $50, everyone's going to try that. Everyone's going to try to get drugs from you and not pay you. So you have to set examples. I was in so many fights for debts being owed to me. So that's one way of making money in prison. Contraband, selling phones, drugs, tobacco, needles. People buy needles from people that work in their infirmary. They'll sneak them back, steal them out the infirmary, and they'll pay $100 for a needle. Hot photos of my sister. What the hell? Someone's putting up these I don't know what this is about. Let's post this to see if someone knows this person. Hot photos of my sister, huh? All right, girls, 18 times XYZ. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who you are, but you're using my page to promote um, stuff that I'm not into. I'm not into hot girls, your sister's photos. So you could, what's up, James? I see you, man. So that's one way that I utilize in all my years of prison. Um, Also, extortion is a way that people make money in prison. Um, you could extort somebody that you feel is weak. They don't belong to a car, Crip blood, northerner, southerner, white. If you see someone that don't gangbang, uh, they become prey to a lot of bullies, and they get extorted for their money for their packages. Their mom be sending them money, and they will get extorted. I've seen that many a times. People getting extorted in there. So that's another way that people make money in prison is extorting people. And I've never done it, never been extorted, but that's something that bullies do. Um, Also, you could charge for protection, and I've seen this more than 100 times. Someone comes in and they're weak, and they need protection. Either they have the sack, they're making money, or their family has money, and they'll come to you and ask you for your protection because they're being bullied by somebody else, and you can get paid by protecting people. I've seen that while I was in prison. Um, uh, there's a lot of money involved with protection, man, because you figure you got all these big gangs on the yard, and you see someone that's prey, and like I seen, check this out. I seen the Crips, LA Crips, send someone to pick on this guy, this black guy that was real feminine. They called him Sexy Leroy. He wasn't a gay. He wasn't gay, but he was feminine. And the LA Crips sent someone over there, a couple guys, to pick a fight with him and beat him up 2 or 3 times. So he naturally needed protection, and he went to their car, and they was charging him as a setup to protect him from their own. I seen that. People pay for protection, so that's another way people make money in jail. Another way is, if you got a job in the kitchen, you can make a lot of money because people that don't like prison food, I'm one of them, will pay a kitchen worker to bring back raw chicken, raw hamburger meat, eggs, salad, fruits and vegetables, from the kitchen that's raw, and we'll cook them in ourselves with our hot pot or our hot plate. Um, so kitchen workers can make a lot of money working in the kitchen if they know how to get the food out. Um, that's the fourth way people make money in prison, and that's probably one of the safest ways because you could get extra time for stealing food, but more than likely the cops, if they find it, if you're stealing food out of the kitchen, they'll just make you throw it away. Another way is I utilize this. I utilize that too. I used to pay workers to bring me food out the kitchen, but there's also cats in there that have no hustle, and they will wash your clothes, your dirty clothes, your laundry, and iron your clothes for you. A couple prisons I was at still had irons. A lot of prisons don't have irons no more for obvious reasons. But you know, or even cooks, people that can cook real good. I used to pay people to cook my food. I moved a guy in my cell in Donovan after I got off single cell status to cook my food for me. I know he could cook, so I paid him to cook my food. But I also had a laundry guy. He used to wash. I hated sending my clothes to the laundry because you put them in this laundry bag and send them, and it gets washed with everyone else's clothes, and they come back dingy still and smelling. So I used to have a laundry cat wash, iron all my clothes, clean my shoes for me. Um, that's another way people make money in prison. It's like slavery, man. It's like you're in there doing shit you wouldn't normally do. Would you wash someone's clothes on the street and iron their clothes for a few dollars a week? That's crazy. Um, Now, this next profession is something that I indulged in a lot. I know you don't supposed to gamble or drink alcohol in prison, but I drank a lot when I was, especially my last 2 years before I came home. I drank a lot of white lightning, and white lightning is taking pruno and burning all the bullshit off, and you get a tumbler like this full of clear. It looks like vodka, and it's $100 a tumbler for this big. And I used to pay these cats to cook alcohol for them. $100 a tumbler. I used to buy 3 tumblers a week, and for Sunday night football or Sunday football, I used to drink tumblers with my partners, or go out there and gamble and drink tumblers of alcohol. So alcohol is a big profession in prison. If you find someone who can make, oh man, hey James, yeah man, rest in peace, Big Chill William Menifee, man. That hurt home, man. That hit me at home real hard, man. You know, I grew up with that cat. He lived like 1 block away from my mom since we was in kindergarten. Him, Yaya, Harvey Washington, Ronald. You know, I grew up with them cats, man. And you know, William was a heavy drinker, man. I don't know if that was the cause of his death, but he didn't get killed. He died of I think natural causes. But yeah, rest in peace, Chill Will. That was the homie, man. I've been knowing him longer than a lot of people from 29th Street or 24th Street. I've been knowing Chill Will since kindergarten. His uncles, his cousins. Let me get back on track here. So yeah, alcohol is another way. People that get pills, prescribed pills in there, they sell their pills. Some people get Xanax bars, some people get morphine, some people get what are them called, Norcos, and they sell them, and they're quite expensive in there. So you know, drugs and alcohol is a way for people to escape reality in prison. So pills and alcohol is a huge commodity in there. Yeah, James, I'm trying to, homie. I'm trying to keep it alive, homie. You know, I just came back. So that's another way that people make money in prison. And all these ways I'm talking about, except for the food and the ironing, could get you way more time. You could go get a DA referral if you get caught with drugs. You go the whole. And all these ways come with, you're going to be having to fight. You're going to get in fights over selling drugs or cell phones. Anything in prison that you're making money at, you'll probably have to end up fighting with someone trying not to pay you in there, man. Another way that people make money that don't have no hustle is like if I'm in there selling drugs and I knew someone was doing their time by themselves and they didn't have no money, if they was broken there, and I knew they was cool, if they was older and they wasn't in no shit, I would approach them and pay them to hold my drugs, to hold my knife, to hold my pruno. They was like guinea pigs, you know what I mean? But they make money. That's another way you can make money in prison, by holding people's stuff, holding people's contraband. And I used to have a cat. Every prison I've been to, I found someone that was older and quiet that didn't get into any shit, and I would seek them out, and I would, proposition, man. You want to make a couple $100? I'll get you canteen. I'll get you packages. I'll pay you. Put money on your books if you hold my dope, you hold my knife, and you hold my drug. I mean my drink. And that's what I would do. I would seek people out and pay them to hold my stuff for me. I seen people. You know how we got Roseville auction, Denials Farmers auction? Well, I seen people in prison on the weekends hold auctions selling CD players, CDs, belts, shoes, shirts, sweatsuits. And I've seen these people have auctions in there. And that's another way people is making money. So there's all kind of different ways people make money in prison. But the one thing that that I don't condone is homosexuality. I don't condone it. Um, and there's a lot of risks involved in it. And I seen two prisons I was at, they had a prostitution ring. One was at Old Corcoran. I believe we was on B Yard in 2010. I think it was B Yard. I'm pretty sure it was B Yard. And they had three punks there. When I say punks, I mean homosexuals. And I seen these guys prostituting themselves, and they had a pimp. The pimp was from San Francisco. I'm not going to say his name. He's still in prison. I just talked to one of his homies a couple weeks ago, but they were selling ass in prison. And, that goes on. Prostitution goes on in prison. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous because of sexually transmitted diseases. And it's dangerous because, some men they think these guys are their wives in there. And I seen dudes get stabbed over homosexuals in prison. It's sad to say, but I seen it. I seen it at Vacaville and I seen it at Solano. People get stabbed. I seen a punk, a gay boy, stab his lover 4 times in the neck at Vacaville in the quarter coming from the big yard, stabbed this dude. He called his husband 4 times in the neck. I don't know what it was for, but it's dangerous business in prison. Homosexuality is dangerous business in prison. I don't condone it. I don't like it. Them are my ways, my 10 ways that people make money in prison. I want to let you youngsters know, if you do go to prison and your family members don't have your back in there, you have to find a way to sustain yourself in there. And people know how to, there's artists in prison that know how to draw. There's people that know how to write poems and stuff. You can make money like that. But if you can't do none of that and you don't have them kind of skills, you're looking to do a lot of time or how much time you have. And it's going to be hard, man. If you don't have no money saved up, you're going to have to subsequently do some of these things, man. And it's dangerous. I was fortunate enough to learn. I thought I was smart enough to not get caught selling drugs. And obviously I was, because I've never been caught in prison selling drugs. I never been caught with drugs in prison. And I always had them. I always sold drugs while I was in prison, man. And I always sold drugs my entire life. Even on the street, I was started selling weed back in 86, 85, 86. Selling weed sacks out of Florham Meadows Apartments. Matter of fact, it was 84 when I first started. Me and Ernie Cadena, rest in peace, Ernie. We was up there on our BMX bikes selling nickel sacks of Colombian gold in Florham Meadows Apartments. Then we moved to Twin Pines, and then late 80s came and we started selling crack in all these apartments around the Gardens. But yeah, them are my ways that you can make money in prison, man. And it's a hard road. It's a hard road when you're in prison and you don't have nobody. Even if you do have people coming to see you, I tried to take care of people on the street when I was in prison. I helped a lot of individuals when I was in prison because I was making a lot of money. Like I said, when I was at Donovan, I believe it was 2013, maybe 2014, or I was there for a little over a year, and I made $253,000 in Donovan selling cell phones and tobacco. I was over there. I was there in 2013, I believe, and I think I left in March or April of 2014. I'm not positive on the dates, but cell phones at the time were $4,000 when I was there. Tobacco, a can of tobacco, you can make $1,500 off of one can of tobacco. Even chargers to cell phones were going for $200 for a charger. So they would sell cell phones there without the charger and then make you pay $200-$300 for the charger. So that's how we were making money over there. I see some OG. Let me answer these questions. Homies from Tosh in the cell with gay dudes. It fucked me up. Hey James, who are you talking about? Because I've seen that happen myself. I'm not gonna say their names, but maybe you will. I don't know. I don't know. What's my brother talking about? My brother just texted me. So maybe you could email me and enlighten me because I don't know. You know, I seen one, two. I know of two, maybe three people from the neighborhood that did that, and one of them is resting in peace right now. I'm not gonna mention his name. What's up, Corey? How you been, man? I see you was on here the other day too. This is the end of the video. I already been on here. I'm trying to keep it down to 45 minutes, and I've been on here 31 already. So I'm trying to keep it down. Did you go to, hey James, did you go to did Chill have his funeral already? I don't think he's buried yet. I think they're waiting. You know, the morgue is backed up right now. It takes months now to get buried. But yeah, them are the 10 ways that I could touch on. There's hundreds of ways people make money, but them are the ways, you know, that I was I seen firsthand. Like I said, there's people in there that doing all kind of shit for money. Snitching, people in there snitching for money. In there telling the police about shit, getting paid, probably having money put on their books. And you know, you got to look out for them type of people too. There's always someone in there trying to tell on you, man. Just like on the streets. I think there might be just as many snitches in prison as there is on the street. And it's sad to say because back in the days, what's up, Big C? Hey, so his wake. Hey, James, tomorrow's his wake for Chill. Where's it at, man? Tomorrow I'm working, man. I've been working my ass off lately. I got a big job in Ileton we're doing right now. Damn, that's crazy. Chill Will is gone, man. You know, that was a good, hard to do too, man. I remember back in, let me see, was it 90 or 91? It was in the early 90s. Chill Will used to live in the East in Little Saigon. And me and my bro, he had just got out. We went over to his apartments and we put a sack in Chill Will's hands and we took over this whole, you know, East Side Pyro used to run these apartments, Little Saigon. We went over there and took over these apartments from them cats. Just me and one other person in Chill Will. It was me, Chill Will, and him. Chill Will lived over there. Morgan and Jones. Salute, Snoopy Mac. Hey, Morgan and Jones. What time is it at tomorrow, James? Maybe I could take off work, man. I need to pay my respects to him, man. Maybe I could take off for an hour or two and go check out his wake. Do you have Yaya's number, James? His sister? Yeah, Chill Will. We grew up pop locking, man. We used to pop lock at John Steele. That was my dude, man. Me, him, and D-Bear's brother Norman used to pop lock. We used to have the black suits with the white gloves, and we used to pop lock. Right there at the parking at John Steele, we used to pop lock all the time. Where's my damn? I don't see it no more. 11 a.m. tomorrow. See, I gotta be in Ileton by 10 o'clock. There's no way I can make that. Do you have Yaya's number? His sister Yaya? Or even Harvey's? His Uncle Harvey? I need to call them, man. Damn, Chill Will is gone. Yeah, that hit me hard, man. I just, you know what? Luckily, I went to see Chill Will at his house. He lived off of Stockton Boulevard, I think by Gerber. I went and seen him probably 3 months ago. I took him a 6-pack of beer and went over there and chilled with him. I'm glad I got to sit and talk to him, man. Matter of fact, it might have been longer than that because his son's car just got burned up in front of his house, and he thought the dudes down the street had burned his car. That's why I went over there. He called me up to come over there because his son's car got burned up in front of his house. And so I went over there and kicked it with Chill for a couple hours, man. I'm glad I got to sit and talk to him because I hadn't seen him for years. And hey, Joe Warson, I know you're gonna be there tomorrow, man. Why don't you tap in, man? And if you on here looking at this video, tap in, or I'm gonna call you as soon as I'm done with this video and see if you're going tomorrow, man. I know you got Yaya's number. Chill Will and Joe Warson was best friends, man. We grew up. I remember when Joe first moved over here to the Gardens. He lived on the corner of John Steele Drive and 24th Street. And you know, we all just clicked because we lived in the same immediate area. We all went to John Steele, and we was all real close growing up. Me, Chill Will, Joe Warson, and D-Bear, David Bryson, we was all real close, man, and Ernie Cadena. We all used to run together. So, yeah, man, that's my 10 ways of people making money in prison. And like I said, it's dangerous. Any of you youngsters getting ready to go to prison, man, I feel for you, especially if you ain't got family support behind you. You're going to have to go in there and get a hustle. And I feel for you, man. It's a long road. PHG, pray, hustle, and grind. That's my new motto. Pray, hustle, and grind. PHG. You got to pray. You got to hustle. You got to grind. And I hope you guys are blessed. I hope you guys are prayed up. Tell the people you love them daily. You don't know how long. That's a testament right there. Our good friend Chill Will just died out of nowhere, man, and from natural causes. So you really don't know how long we're gonna be here. You know, I'm in my 50s, my early 50s, and I didn't think I was gonna make it to 30. Once I made it to 30, I thought, you know, shit, anything after that was a blessing. Now I'm already at 53 years old, and I'm like, damn, I didn't really thought I was gonna make it to be this old. And now everything has changed for me. I got grandkids. I'm not in the streets no more. It's going to be a horse carrier carrying him off from 24th on downtown for sure. Oh, that's good shit, man. They're going to go by his old house across the street from Meadowview Park. That's where they'll probably start at. He grew up right across from Meadowview Park. Next, he lived one door down from B-Dub, Berry Woods, or two doors down from Berry Woods. The founder of 24th Street. Yep, I'm 53, homie. Born in 1969. Been gangbanging since 1983. That's a hell of a long run, huh? Yeah, man. It's gonna be yours. Man, I got so many comments on here. Let me back up. I didn't respond to all of them. I want to know who this is. Who is this right here? Like hot photos of my sister. They posted that 3 times. Some cornball out there trying to get exposure through my channel, trying to sell his sister and shit. That's crazy. You 53 too, James? How come you ain't told me who you really was yet, James? We've been asking you. Nah, James ain't no troll. He's from the hood. I just don't know who he is. He ain't told me who he is. But I love it that we made it too, homie. I just wish you would tell me. I know you know me, and I know you too. You just ain't telling me exactly who you are. This is a alias name you put up there, because I know a lot. I know everyone from not everyone, but I know everyone from my age from the hood. I know their real names, and there ain't no James Smith. I looked that up. I wish I knew who you was, homie. Tap in with me, email me or something. My email's in my bio. So it's been 40 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off. Like I said, tell the people you love them. Stay blessed and prayed up. And you must pray, hustle, and grind. We're too old not to be praying. I learned how to pray probably when I was young, but I really learned how to pray uh, right when I turned 30 years old. And I think that's why I'm still alive now, because the woman I was with really was in the church and in the word. And I used to go to her church, and I really learned how to worship and know the worthiness of praising Jesus, of praying. I can meet you there at the wake. 11 o'clock, I can't make it. I got to be in Alton. We're doing a 40 to 60 tree removal in Alton at a trailer park. It's a retirement trailer park, and it's right on the river. And we got to do these trees, man. I can't. It's a big money job I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going to be there probably all week. So hopefully everything goes cool tomorrow at Will Sing. I know all the homies are going to be there. I just can't make it tomorrow because of my job. I run a tree service now, man. And I got to get this done because I plan on going to Boston real soon. I got to go to Boston, take care of some business down there. So I'm trying to finish this job in order to go to Boston. I'm going to try to take all next week off so I can go to Boston. So like I said, I'm going to end this video. You guys stay up, stay prayed up. Tell the people you love them. And I'll check you guys out. I'll probably be back on Friday. Maybe even tomorrow. I might do another video tomorrow. I'm trying to, me and Teardrop, we talked through Messenger, and he said he's going to get on here. Then he don't call. So I'm trying to get a time slot allotted for me and Teardrop to do an interview on here. Teardrop is from my neighborhood. He got a life in prison, and we plan on doing an interview on here. G-Man, I talked to him about an interview, and his funny ass. He's crazy as fuck, but he's funny. He's like, dog, you don't want me on there because I'm gonna tell the truth about everything. I'm gonna expose hella people on there, and I'm gonna tell the truth, and that's what I want. And so I haven't talked to him in a few days, but hopefully he calls me soon. I put money on my phone so he can call me collect. So hopefully he'll call me soon, and we can arrange for Big G-Man George Mims to get on here, and I can interview him. All right, y'all. Check y'all out tomorrow or Friday. I'm ending this broadcast. Stay prayed up.